Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day everyone. We are from Group 3 and today we will be presenting about issues in industrial relation for Malayan banking Berhad, also known as Maybank. Next. But before that, let me introduce our team member. My name is DANIA QISTINA. We have RABI'ATUL ADAWIYAH, SHAZWANI IDAYU and also UMAIRAH FARZANA. Next. But before that, let me brief about the organization background. For Malayan banking Berhad, Maybank was founded in 1960 by Ko Tek Puat, and the headquarters of Maybank is located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And the bank operates in 80 countries, including Singapore and also Indonesia. So Maybank is Malaysia's largest financial institution in Southeast Asia, and it offers retail, business and Islamic banking, plus insurance and investment management services. For the vision and values with over 43,000 employees, Maybank's mission is to humanize financial services, focusing on inclusion, innovation and also community growth. Next is the issues of industrial relation. Next. Now we're moving on to the first issue, which is sexual assault or sexual harassment that occurred in Maybank's Bercham branch in Ipoh. So this case has gained attention because it raised serious concern about how the organization handled harassment complaints. So from a notable case is that of Miss Kok Wai Ling, which happened in 2024. She was an employee in Maybank Bercham branch and she was harassed by her superior, named Rosman bin Jamaluddin, since 2021. And after enduring continuous inappropriate behavior, she was decided to file a police report in August 2024. The action taken by Maybank after her complaint that was Miss Kok suspended for insubordination, and this action was viewed as a retaliatory and it breached the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act 2022, specifically Section 2. In Section 2, it mandates that employers to handle sexual harassment complaints fairly, confidentially and without any retaliation, but Maybank did the opposite. So instead of protecting the victim, the organization punished her for speaking up, showing failure to provide a safe and fair workplace environment. And why is an issue? It breached of employee protection and ethical standard, as well as non-compliance with Anti-Sexual Harassment Act 2022. Also, it damaged trust and highlighted weak internal complaint system. Next, I'll move to the second issue, which is misconduct. So the issue here is disciplinary action arising from employee misconduct. Maybank faced several misconduct cases between 2021 until 2025. So from the notable case, including Nur Zuliana Zulkifli, which occurred in 2021, she was a clerk at Maybank, and she was unauthorized access to her husband's bank account using her position as a clerk. So an investigation and domestic inquiry were carried out under Section 14 of the Employment Act 1955, and after being found guilty in serious misconduct, she was terminated from her position. So this issue is important because it represents breach of confidentiality and abuse of authority, also violation of company policy and legal obligation, and it caused loss of trust and risk the bank's reputation. And next, I'll pass to the next presenter, SHAZWANI IDAYU.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is SHAZWANI IDAYU and I will continue with the related cases for sexual assaults issue. Okay, so the first case is Junaidi Kasim versus Malayan Banking Berhad 2025. So, overview for the case is involve a senior staff member that accused of sexual harassment. So, the allegation include inappropriate message and behavior toward a female employee. So, by the law, the investigation carried Anti-Sexual Harassment Act 2022. It focused on ensuring a fair, prompt and transparent process. The industrial court emphasized that sexual harassment is a gross misconduct, especially when victim feels intimidated or uncomfortable. So, the output from the case, we can see the industrial court upheld Maybank's decision to dismiss the employee, found out that investigation was properly conducted and justified. The case demonstrates a victim-centered approach in addressing harassment. So next for the second case is Matnor bin Qasim versus Malayan Banking Berhad. So overview for the case, the employee, which is Matnor, accused of sexual harassment to a female colleague. So domestic inquiry conduct by Maybank found the employee guilty, and the employee was dismissed following the inquiry outcome. So by the law, we can see from Section 14.1 Employee Act 1955, it requires fair and impartial procedure before disciplinary action is taken. The industrial court found Maybank inquiry lacked fairness and transparency. So, the output from the case, we can see that industrial court overturned Maybank dismissal decision and found dismissal unjust and improper due to bias inquiry, reinforced that the importance of transparency due to process in sexual harassment cases. So next, the third case, which is from Hosni bin Yunus versus Malayan Banking Berhad. Overview for the case, we can see an employee, an officer, was accused of sexual harassment by a female subordinate. Initially, it was inquiry found him not guilty, but later, the new credible evidence emerged proving his involvement in the misconduct. So, by the law, we can see that governed under Employment Act 1955 and Anti-Sexual Harassment Act 2022 can see that industrial court reviewed whether Maybank case within a legal rights. So found that employer can take disciplinary action if new and credible evidence arise. So output from the case, we can see that industrial court upheld Maybank decision to dismiss the officer. Conclude that the dismissal was fair, justified and procedure correct. So recognize Maybank commitment to the harassment-free workplace. So I'll pass for the next presenter, UMAIRAH.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. And now I'm going to present about the related cases for misconduct issues. Okay, so the first case that we found is about loan syndicate scandal. This issue occurs in 2024. Okay, so basically, this issue is about seven Maybank staff. They involved in a loan approval syndicate where they manipulate for application for their own personal gain. So this issue has breach of trust and fraud against the company policy. So there are three laws that can be referred to for this case. So the first law is Employment Act 1955 is Section 14, where this law is about misconduct and dismissal process. So basically this section, it covers on how employers can take action when employee commits misconduct. For example, in this case, it is a misconduct about a fraud where they manipulate the loan. And the second law is Penal Code Section 420. This penal code is about cheating and dishonesty inducing delivery of property. So this law, it applies to this case because this case, as we can see, it involved deceiving other person or organization to obtain money. So, and the last law that can be referred to is Code of Conduct for Industrial Harmony 1975. This Code of Conduct, it ensures fairness and due process. So this code, we can say that it's a guideline jointly agreed upon by employers, employees and the government to promote good industrial relations in Malaysia. So the output for this case, we can see that after the investigation has been conducted, the seven officers are confirmed to be involved in this case. So all of the officers are were dismissed immediately. Therefore, it leads to the Maybank lodge the report to the authorities for to take a further legal action. And next case. Okay, so the second case that we found that related to the misconduct issue is about credit card forgery. This case, it involved a Maybank officer named Khairul Niza Khairuddin. Okay, so the overview for this case is where this Maybank officer, she forged a customer's credit card and then she manipulated their account records. This case, basically, we can classify it as a criminal and professional misconduct. So there are few laws that can be referred to for this case. So the first law is Penal Code Section 463 until 471, where this penal code is about forgery and falsification of documents. So this section, it deals with creating, altering or using fake documents to deceive others. So we can see that this law is related directly to this case because it involved manipulation of account records of documents, fake documents. Okay, so then second law is Employment Act 1955, Section 14, as I said in the previous case, where it is permits dismissal for proven misconduct. So this section, it allows the employer to discipline or dismiss an employee after a domestic inquiry has confirmed as a misconduct. And the last law is Maybank Code of Ethics. This regulation is about zero tolerance for fraud because this regulation, it has stated that it has sets out the moral and professional standards where from I'm sorry. Okay, so the last law is about Maybank Code of Ethics. It is about zero tolerance for fraud because this regulation, it sets out the moral and professional standards that are expected from all Maybank employees. So the output that can be seen from this case is after the employees was found guilty, um, she has been dismissed and therefore was charged in the court for criminal forgery. That's all for me. Now I'm going to pass it to the last presenter, RABI'ATUL ADAWIYAH.
Okay, right now I will continue with the third cases for the second issue, which is dual employment. So in these cases, involve a Maybank employee named Siti Zahira Harun, who was found working for another company while still being employed at Maybank. This situation is known as dual employment, and these cases is a breach of employment contract and conflict interest because she is being paid by two different companies at the same time. So these cases fall under Section 14 of Employment Act 1955, where misconduct by breach of contract. So in this law, in these sections, it it allows for disciplinary actions if an employee commits misconduct or breaches their contracts, and maybe also refer to their code of conduct in which prohibit dual employment. Under this code of conduct, it is strictly stated that the employee is prohibited from holding another job without the permission of the employers. So by working for another company, she clearly breaches both of the law and the company policy itself. So the output for these cases, after domestic inquiry being held, the employee is admitted for the dual employment and she was being dismissed for the breach of trust and divided loyalty. Next, I will continue with the recommendation. Next, for the first issue, which is sexual harassment, the first recommendation is to establish an independent sexual harassment investigation committee, or in short, ISHIC. So, why this committee must be formed? To ensure fairness and impartiality in handling sexual harassment cases and prevent biases, conflict of interest, and victim retaliations. So, this committee is also formed to comply with the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act 2022. This strategy can be done by Maybank itself. Create a committee independent that include HR officer, female staff, and also the external expert such as NGO or other industrial relation expert. So they will work together to handle complaint confidentially and report finding within 30 working days. And then, because of this strategy, it can result in transparent and fair investigations, higher employee confidence and trust, and also lastly, it can stronger the workplace integrity and compliance. Next recommendations. So this is the recommendation for the second issue, which is for the misconduct issue. So what Maybank can do is to strengthen the continuous ethic and compliance training. Some of the employee of the Maybank itself may not fully understand the company rules and also the legal limits. So they have to do regular training that can remind the staff about confidentiality, integrity, and also the honesty. How they can do this is they can conduct the quarterly ethic workshop using real case Maybank cases. For example, the cases of dual employment that I have explained earlier, and to make sure that all of the participants understand fully about the training, they can give short quizzes or having a feedback sessions. So because of this training, it can reduce the cases of misconduct, stronger the awareness of the company policy, and also it can promote a better trust between the employers and also the management itself in the company. Next, in conclusion, to sum up all of it, the cases at Maybank show how important it is for the fairness. To sum up, the Maybank cases show the importance of fairness, honesty, and law compliance. Misconduct and also sexual harassment can affect the company trust and also the reputation. That's why Maybank is improving by setting up Maybank has to improving by setting up the Independent Investigation Committee, which is ISHIC, and also provide a regular ethics and compliance trainings. These actions can help to create a safe, respectful, and also responsible workplace. That's all from us. Thank you.